Look at the bottom of that fender. You see that? Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got to hammer and dolly that out. That's going to be a bitch. All right, when I got this car, the door hinges were not on the car. Went ahead and hammered and dollied this out. If everybody remembers, when we went to the junkyard, this was all bent up. These old cars, the metal on them was like 18 gauge. Now, these are factory fenders. Remember that. You got adjustment that goes this way, this, every which way. The situation we have is these door hinges were off of the car. And then the door hinges here, they do the same thing. They go in a circle motion any way you want. That's what's fucking us up here, dude. Now, when we had the fender on, if you look right here, see that gap we got? Right. All right, another thing we have is right here. I kind of just basically put the doors on. The gap looks big because it's not shut all the way, but you can kind of see what we got here. It's tight at the top, loose at the bottom. Down here at the bottom, if you look at the door, all right, look at this gap here. So it's up in the air right here, and then down there, it looks like it touches almost, but it's not touching. That's just the way it's looking in the camera. But you can see the gap is just totally screwed up here, dude. What do we got to do to this door? We got to move this door that way. We had about an inch gap over there. We got to even this gap out, and at the same time, we got to pull the door out a little bit because the fender was not properly adjusted. So that's what we're going to start doing. What's up?
Drop the front down a little bit too, in order.
No, I think
in order to even this gap up.
All right. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to push that door forward. We're not going to mess with the door hinges on the door. We're going to do it on the car. So what we need, Minnie, the body shop girl over there sweeping the floors, we need our floor jack. Another problem that we have with this car, Volkswagen John guy, is this quarter panel's been replaced. So when they do that, I don't believe that this quarter panel was replaced with the door on it. Another thing that's wrong is this is actually an aftermarket door skin we're looking at here. All right, so we got an aftermarket door panel, we got an aftermarket door skin, and we had two aftermarket fenders. Those fenders there will not fucking work. They don't fit on here at all.
They were almost an inch or two.
They were about an inch and a half gap on this fender here. So we went to the junkyard. We got the original fenders now. What I got to do is I got to adjust this door because this was supposed to be a paint-ready car. All I was supposed to do is scuff it down and paint it. That's all. And that's not how it's working out. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have John lift that door up as I loosen the top hinge. Now what that's going to do, that's going to cock the door up in the air, but it's also going to push that top hinge toward the front of the car. Once I tighten that, we'll go ahead and do the same thing on the bottom, and then he will drop the door back down, trying to make it eyeball level with the quarter panel. Now, when he does that, what's going to happen, it's going to bring the door forward. And that should fill our gap in on the fender. Now that's not going to fill it in as far as in and out goes, but it will fill it in from back to front. All right, hold on to it. Here it goes. All right, lift it up. Keep going. A little more. Come on.
That's
all right, hold it right there. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You pull it back down for a second.
Okay, now, what I'm going to do, that went up pretty high, dude. What I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen these ones, and then you're going to
push it down slightly.
You're going to push the door down. No, you're going to pull up on it.
Push
No. No, you're right, hang on. Okay, push it down. Keep going. All right, hold it right there. Okay, now, how does the door look when we shut it? Down low? Okay, what I want to do is I'm going to loosen Now we can adjust the door. If you look at it, there's a gap straight down. Let me see. Check this gap. Okay, that's a big gap. Okay, we're going to bring it a little bit closer to us. We want a little high. So this time what we're going to do is we are going to go just a little bit down. Okay, we're going to let it go down, John. A little bit. Right there. Hold it. Don't move it. Now you're going to lift the door up and try to get that gap where we need it. Ready? Lift it up. Up, up, up. Up right there. Shut the door. Watch. Yeah, well, looks like that looks pretty good. You know what? Let's try that and see what happens.
That was pinching right against here when we started.
So now we got a good gap here. We're still not flush with that quarter panel. The door's still got to go forward. Okay, you're going to go down with it, okay?
It's done.
Okay, go down.
It is done.
More. Right there. A little more, John. A little more. Right there. Hold it. It looks like we might have that where it's flush here, but the problem we really have is that's an aftermarket quarter panel over there. And when you have the aftermarket quarter situation, that's what happens. So if that gap looks big over there, don't worry about that. We can fix that. What we're more concerned about, hello, Norm, is this gap right here. Okay, lift it up. Up, up. Well, not that high. A little down. A little more down. Hold it. Okay, let go. Still low. Too low? Okay, see, we're even down here. So we got to go up a little more. Hang on. Up. Hold it right there. That's as far as we can go on this bitch. That's the end of the deal, right? Okay, what do we got? How's the gap looking?
Gap's looking much better.
Okay, now there's one other thing we got a problem with. This gap over here on the bottom of this door, see how it's real close here? Okay? The gap down there isn't the same as over there. So what I got to do is I'm going to get my extension. If Minnie can give me the orange handle pry bar. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen the bolts up. I'm going to jack this up and match that gap. Now how's the gap on the top look?
Top is beautiful.
Well, actually, that'll help because it's a little wider at the top.
It is wider?
Right here.
Okay, so if John can hold this, right. If John can hold this, I'm going to get my extension. We're going to go inside the door. We're going to lift this door up without moving it back and forth or in and out and see what happens. Okay, hang on. I think I just lifted it up. Right there. Now if you take your hand and push that hinge in right there and hold it, just push in on the door. On the door. Push in. There you go. Not real hard. Okay? Not real hard, dude. Right there. Hold it. Not an easy fucking job, dude. Just hang on. Okay, now bring it out just a hair. Bring it, no, out. Here, hang on. Let's see, watch out.
No, it'll move.
Let me see. I just want to come out just a little bit. Oh, right there. Now, how's that gap looking now?
It's more even.
Good. Okay, so now we got the door. Now look at the gap on the bottom, what I did there. See, everything's even now. It's not sitting crooked. The door's fitting in there square. It's looking flush here. It's looking flush over there. What we're going to do now, we got a nice gap over there. We're going to put the fender back on the car, and hopefully we're going to have a nice gap going around. That's the situation we're trying to accomplish here because it's a fucking bitch. For a car that was supposed to be paint ready. All right, everybody watch out. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and set the fender on here. Like get this all out of the way. And we're going to line the holes up. We should have a better gap. This is what I'm concerned about. So hang on 1 second. Look how low we are here, dude. Let me get this all set up. Now this one here, they don't have no adjustment on this. Don't move it, John. Okay, we just got 2 bolts that hold the core support, and then everything moves from there, see? Okay, one thing I do want to say here, our objection right now is to get a nice flush mount going straight back and forth down. We aren't going to get a perfect exact gap between the fender and the doors. They're not going to look the same. And the reason for that is because this is an aftermarket door skin. Now when you apply the aftermarket door skin, they might have took that door skin and instead of rolling the door skin like it should have been, they might have rolled it so hard that it went right up next to the door shell, which that's going to lose centimeters, millimeters of gap when you do that. All right, so it's not exactly the same as a factory door skin, but the real deal is that it's looking a lot better than it did. So we're going to open the door like this. I'm going to come over here and I'll take this bolt right there, and if John can give me that pry bar. Hang on a minute, we don't want to dent the...
Here, just let me lift it up this way.
There you go, hold it right there. I just want to... Actually, what you need to do is you need to push on the... You need to push the fender my way. The whole thing's got to come my... There you go. Come on. Push the whole front end.
You got this tight.
I know. You have to push the whole front end, dude. Push on it. There you go. Hold it right there. Get this started. Hold it right there. Hang on. Bitch. Okay, hold it. It's fucking fault here. Hang on, John. Alright, you can let go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten this one up. But that's okay, because look what we got. We're getting a really nice gap here. Okay? It's not the best gap, but it's going to be a gap that we're going to be able to use. Now, we're not done yet. That's not going to work. We got to get that fender closer. And put the thing on there. I'm going to push on the fender, and then you tighten it up. You ready? Got it? Okay, now shut the door. See what we got. Okay, it's not working out. Okay, I'm going to loosen it down. We need to put a shim on the inside. Bring the fender out right there. Can you open that up? And this is a fucking deal. This is going to take 3 or 4 or 5 hours fucking around with these fenders and doors. We're not going to be able to get it on this first try. Am I right, Minnie?
Well, you never get it on the first
Okay.
try. It's always adjust.
It's a lot closer than it was, but I can already see that this is way too close. That's telling me we got to get some shims in here, John.
That was the part that was bent.
I know, but we still got to get some shims in there, because look right here, Minnie. Go ahead and shut that door. See how close that is right there? Look how big that gap is. If we put some shims in, it's going to pull this out here, get it closer there, and pull it away from there to line this up with that line. Open it up. These are called fender shims. You see what I've got here? Different sizes, different thicknesses. Thick, medium, skinny. We're going to start out with 3 of them. Looked like the gap was pretty big. That's not going to fit, so we're going to take the little one out. Now these will fit. Okay, you see what I got there, John? Yep. You're going to have to hold that there with your finger.
Yep.
Okay, and then put that on there. So you got it on tighten? Okay, don't tighten it yet. I'm going to push the front end forward and lift it up. All right, this fender's so flimsy that every bolt's different. You ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay. Okay, now, let's look at our gap. Shut the door. That's looking pretty good. The situation I see is that this doesn't line up with this. And the reason that is because we got the aftermarket, what? Door skin. If it didn't have the aftermarket door skin and this was a factory door, we wouldn't have no problems. Okay, We're gonna leave that like that for now because look down at the bottom here. See how close it is here? What I gotta do is I gotta pop that fender in there where it goes and put the 2 bolts on the bottom. So let me go get another bolt and we're gonna try that out.
What size is that?
That's a 9/16. Leave that on there. Okay, so now what I'm looking at here that's very unusual and odd is I want everybody to take a good look at that gap right there. Do you see that, John? Look at this. That's fucking crazy. I don't understand that. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my pry bar and I'm going to put that right there and then we'll be able to move this. Okay, I'm already seeing that the door is possibly too close.
Right.
All right, but we're gonna go ahead and bolt this up and then maybe we might be able to loosen it because we got a good gap down here. Let me get these bolts on here and see what happens. The spacer, huh?
We may have to move the door back too.
We might have to. Let's see, that's where it comes in. We'll have to take the fucking fender off. So what I'm gonna do just temporarily is I'm using these bolts because I don't understand why there's such a big fucking gap down here. But this is gonna be our spacer situation for these. I'm gonna put one right here. And then I'm gonna take a nut like this right here with a fender washer. Just like that. And we're gonna go like this, line that up. There it is. Get it lined up, all right. And what's good about these fenders is these actually have slots in them instead of holes. So hopefully, yeah. And this one here is really fucking big. I don't this is a mind-boggling situation on this right here. That's telling me that the fender's too low, and if we raise it up, it's gonna give us a bigger gap there. But another thing that we have a problem with is this fender's so flimsy on the door side that when we tighten this fender up, it might bow it out to give us the angle that we need. So I'm really trying to be patient here and you know, do the guy a square deal, but I'm hoping that we can get all this fucking lined up and down the fucking road. I'm gonna get this where I think it's gonna be eyeball angle, because this is all eyeball shit going on here. And what I'm doing while I'm pushing on it, it's giving us a better gap. So I think we're gonna be able to get this rigged up where it's gonna work. I don't like the way that the gap is on the bottom, and I'm gonna show everybody that in a minute. If you can give me that.
So you're tightening.
Okay. So we're gonna push this all the way in. Like that, and then on this one, I'm thinking we're gonna have to loosen the top. What do we got up here, dude?
Pretty tight.
Is it? Okay. All right, so this has to go in a little farther. Let me loosen this up just a little bit. And then where's my pry bar? We're gonna go ahead, because this fender here has to go behind the rocker, like this, just like that. And I think that opened our gap up, didn't it? When I did that,
A little bit.
on the bottom, our gap's open.
Yeah.
Whoops, hold on. Then I'll tighten this one back, there's that. So then we'll put this one right there. Now, the bottom's where it's supposed to go. Look at the gap we got, that looks pretty good. Big gap on the bottom here, but you know what? Let's keep going with it. Being an aftermarket door scan that we got here, this is our factory reveal. Do you see that? This is our aftermarket reveal. What we might have to do with this, and I'm gonna get a magic marker and I'll show you, because this is a fucking situation that says we're fucked. That's all there is to it, okay? So this right here, this outside fender, that's from the factory. See what I'm saying? John?
Yep.
All right, as you come down here on our door, you can see this goes to a point. And it's not the same as that. To make that fit properly, what we'll have to do is we will follow this contour just like this. See how I just did that, Manny?
Yep.
Okay, I'm starting from nothing. I'm going like this, down to nothing. And then what we'll do, we'll take our grinder, grind that edge of the door off, and then what, John?
Then you're gonna have to bondo it together.
No,
because it's
we'll
gonna
weld
slip.
that up. We'll weld this up right here, and then once that's welded, we'll grind it down, and it'll be the same contour as our fender. Now, another thing I noticed is right in here, from this right here being bent up, if you look right in this area, I don't know if you can see that, but it's been pushed down right here. So We'll have to do some hammer and dolling in this area here. This is looking actually pretty good. I like the way that fits. Nice gap going here. I still think that we need to pull it out because if you look at the gap here versus this gap, it's still a little tight on the fender. I think we need to bring the shim out just a little bit more on this, and I think that's going to hook us up and make everything fit right. Now, I like the gap here, so I'm thinking when we lift that up, that's going to fix this gap here and hopefully bring our fender in.
All right, now does the door have to move?
Look what we got here, dude. It's not really looking perfect. Okay, we got to put this fender in even more than what we're looking at because you can see that the gap on that is not right. It's not looking flush. But I want you to look at this gap here. It's higher at the end on this end than it is down here. All right, but we're not worried about that gap right now because what we are worried about is this gap. So this video right here has been going on for a little over 30 minutes. I'm going to keep manipulating my way to get this fender to fit properly, and when we come back, hopefully we'll have a fender that actually works. Now, one more thing I want to point out, if you look at this fender right here, you can see over here, Minnie. All right, can you take your foot and push the bottom of that fender in? You can see where that bottom of that fender's been wrecked. All right, there you go. So we're going to have to go ahead and get the bracket mounted on that. This is going to be a several-hour job just mounting one door. Very big fucking situation here. Don't ever, I'm going to repeat again, do not ever remove the door hinges off the body of your car. We'll be back.